What's up, everybody? How are you guys doing today? Good to see everybody. Thank you guys for taking the time to be here. Just gonna make a post about this stream. Appreciate you guys for being here. Hello, everybody. Good evening, Neon Lights. What's up, Mild? All right, what's up, Cosmic? What's up, Water Cat? What's up, Yeeper? What up, TK? How you guys doing? We'll get started here in just a second. Just gonna go ahead and put out a Discord notification and all that. The Twitch is going too. We're streaming on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/dpmyt. How you guys doing? All right, so today we're going to be talking about the new interview that the Google CEO just did, where the interviewer was actually doing a pretty good job pressing him from some of the clips that I've seen. How are you guys doing? What's up, Ink? What's up, Lone Wolf? But yeah, we are going to be talking about this interview that the Google CEO did. So basically, you guys already know Google search has been ruined. They've ruined it. They just turned into AI Google search essentially, and now the entire thing is just AI. So basically he did an interview talking about it, and this guy was doing the interview, and he actually pressed him pretty hard in a few things. So I was pretty surprised. What's up, 1KQ? How you doing? What's up, Darby? Appreciate the support there. What's up, Ren? But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and watch it, and I'll give my thoughts on it. We can all give our thoughts on it. Let me know how the volume is, guys. Let me know if it's too loud, too quiet. And yeah, let's get started.
How close is AI to replacing you as the CEO?
I just think the CEO job is not that complicated. People are standing and telling about how AI could make a lot of jobs go away, right? And why wouldn't you feel a sense of anxiety about it, right? And
good volume.
I think those
thanks,
are
guys.
deeper issues which we have to tackle as a society.
I/O ended with Dennis Hassabis, the CEO of DeepMind, coming out. He said, Google's cutting-edge research and products will help unlock AGI's incredible potential for the benefit of the entire world. When we look back at this time, I think we will realize that we were standing in the foothills of the singularity. Can you tell me what it means to be in the foothills of the singularity?
Okay, so I think this guy's going to do a little intro of what they discuss. We're just going to skip past that. I just want to get into what they're talking about.
Itself. Tell me how Google is structured right now.
Okay, it is Google and Alphabet. Obviously we have Alphabet as well. But broadly, I think about it.
Hey, thank you for the $10, Sean. Appreciate that, dude. Incredible show, off the chain, all the leaks, peaks, and insights. Thanks for the $10, dude. Let's get some W's for Sean. What's up, Bertie?
There are three main businesses in Google: Search, YouTube, Google Cloud.
All three of the businesses that he mentioned have now been turned into AI versions of the former product.
There are enormous.
What's up, Smurf? I'm good. How are you, dude?
Run, which is Android, Chrome, and the whole area to do with it. And powering it all is all these important technology areas, which is AI and our infrastructure work.
Hey, thank you for the gifted membership, WZL. Appreciate that. Let's get some W's for him. What's up, J Aviation?
The functions to go with it. But at a high level, you can think of it as
I'm good. How's your day, Cameron?
Search, YouTube, Google Cloud, and then our big computing platforms.
Hey, thank you for another gifted WZ. Appreciate that, dude. Get some W's for him again. Thank you so much, Deep here, for making this channel what it is. I love how you shed light on all this BS. Thank you. Thank you, Lone Wolf. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that. What's up, Damar Dax? I've been watching since 2023. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that.
Main groups, and obviously powered with Google DeepMind. And
appreciate you, WZ. Thank you, Sean, as well.
Teams. So that's one simple way to get a mental model around it. And of course, we have other bets beyond that.
Oh my God, another donation. You guys don't have to donate, guys. It's just consider it free entertainment or free boredom because I'm boring. Appreciate the $5, Sean. Thank you so much. Let's get some W's for him again.
The most prominent of them all, but there are many other bets.
I agree,
like,
Cat Lover. What's up, Norby? Thank you.
So
Yeah, I want to stay focused on the Google of it. I feel like we could do an entire hour on Alphabet and how that's structured and how that works as a public company with many bets. But just to stay focused on Google for 1 second, the knock on Google historically is this is a company that ships lots and lots of products. You cancel lots of products. There's not tons of focus. There's like thousands of names of different products that are overlapping in kinds of different ways. And where that comes from, at least in my view, is that you do have these big infrastructure bets. You have all these capabilities, and the people running the businesses can use those capabilities to spin up products. And there's maybe not a lot of overlap.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that.
Or did we launch 2 of the same thing? How do you resolve that tension? It does seem like Google has gotten a little more focused, but that is the company's culture, right? We're going to make a lot of bets and see which ones work. How does that resolve for you?
Look, I think...
Thank you for the $2, C. Royce. Appreciate that. You don't have to donate, man. I'll have more cash next time. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. It's him, DP himself. What's up, home? How you doing? I'm nobody special, buddy. Thank you, Smurf. I appreciate that. Thank you for becoming a member, dude.
A lot of intent in what we do, too.
I'm good. How are you, France?
It's not an accident. We have 13 products with 1 billion users each, and we've been as committed to those products longer term. You can go back and think about when Gmail launched, or Maps launched, or Google Docs launched, or Search launched, or Chrome launched, and so we've been deep and consistent in many, many areas over a long period of time as well. I do think one way I've internalized the AI moment is for the first time.
Anyone else experiencing a bit of lag? Just me? Looks good on my end. Anybody else lagging? Let me know.
Common infrastructure powering all of them. With our Gemini models and the underlying AI infrastructure. So we
appreciate
are
you, Sarge. Thank you, dude.
Intently, with intent, do things which cut across things.
Thank you, Cat Lover.
So personal intelligence is a great example of it. It's one effort. Obviously, users get a choice to turn it on in each of the products. But it's built with one common infrastructure so that it works consistently.
What's up, Godzilla -1? I hope your day goes good. Hopefully the weather's not too bad. I actually just watched -1, the movie, like a few days ago. So it's funny that you're here.
The products.
What's up, Billy?
The underlying Gemini models itself is an example of it. So we are able to
bring that model
in the context of the products, like Ask Maps in the context of the Maps product. But a lot of the technology power.
Yeah. Get a chance to turn off. Okay, buddy. They don't give you a chance to turn off any of the AI on pretty much any service that Google offers. I think that's funny. What's up, Fast Truck?
One work. Which is why.
What's up, 26
Byte?
What's
the AI
up,
moment offers us a really new way to think about it, and not just across Google, across Alphabet too over time. I think that's what makes this moment so uniquely powerful, is that you can invest so much in R&D and infrastructure and develop a technology which then you can apply across all these areas. Obviously.
Yeah, the interview starts off a little slow, but from the clips I've seen, like this guy starts pressing him pretty hard.
In which they are useful.
What's up, Newt? How you doing?
But the underlying technology platform is common. So there's a lot of intent that way, and so on. You have to give room for innovation. Otherwise, so allowing room for innovation where teams on the margin are able to ship some new features. Sometimes you later work to harmonize them. Take Notebook LM. Notebooks are now showing up in Gemini.
Oh yeah, Mason. Right? They are planning to do, like they're planning to do with YouTube what they did with Google Search. I made a video about this already. Let's see if I can find it. It was right here. YouTube added an adult chatbot, right? So not only did they include a feature called Ask YouTube, which will be rolling out to everybody soon, which is essentially going to be ChatGPT on Google or on YouTube, but they made it 18 plus. So it's weird. Like, why is it 18 plus? It almost suggests like it's sexual or something. I don't know. It was a very weird decision, but Google is just famous for weird decisions nowadays.
It's effectively projects as notebooks, and you can create a notebook in Gemini. You can go to Notebook LM. You will see the same notebooks, vice versa. So that's an example of where you innovated first and then you're harmonizing.
Thanks, Dumpster Fire.
Yeah. I was watching the keynote yesterday and I saw a lot of intent.
Please don't add AI to YouTube search. Too late.
We have this core technology. We can express it in lots of ways. It's still essentially googly. Like there's lots of products, lots of Gemini words. I'm going to figure them all out, I promise. I would contrast to, 3-4 years ago when there was the ChatGPT moment. Everyone worried about what Google would do, could OpenAI show up and take your market share and search away. Between that and now, you have changed Google, right? You have restructured it. There are
What's
new
up,
people
Norby?
in
Thank you
leader-
for the $2. Did you switch to DuckDuckGo? No, actually I use mainly Brave search. If I'm on Firefox, then yeah, I will try to use DuckDuckGo. Honestly, it's so hard to get rid of the muscle memory of typing in Google. And also, a funny thing is, I've kind of been defaulting to good old Yahoo. I'll be honest. Good old Yahoo search, dude. But yeah, thank you for the $2, Norby.
leadership roles. How connect those dots for me? How did you think about, okay, I need to actually change how the company
Yahoo's
works
still around. Yep.
with the competitive moment you were in that got you here?
No, it's a great question. Look, I think for me, I
made a
internalize-
Yahoo email in like, dude, I think it was like 2006, 2005. So I've had that email address for like more than 20 years. Shout out Yahoo for all the old heads out there like me, all the 90-year-olds.
It's that moment. It was tough to convey it outside, but I was, we had set the company, I pivoted the company to be AI first. We had all the ingredients.
And that's why people are mad at you, buddy. Like, we don't want it to be
company, I
we
pivoted.
don't want it to be AI first. You know what statement Google could have made to the world if they're like, you know what? We understand that AI is prominent in the world, but we're going to go against the status quo and we're not going to have AI. Do you know how much props they would get? And I would argue, I mean, maybe they wouldn't make as much money, but I would argue they would make tons of money from everybody switching to everything Google, because they're like, you know what? Google is anti-AI. I'm going to use Google. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But yeah.
The company to
That's
be
it.
AI first. We had all the ingredients.
What's up, Norby? Yo, for some reason I can't join your Discord. I think the Discord invites might be locked right now because let's just say I've made some videos about some stupid people who go in the Discord and spam some crazy stuff. So I have to be very careful with the invites. But if you send me a DM on Twitter or Discord or something, I can get you in there. What's up, Luminous? How you doing?
So in some ways, I felt like the Overton window had changed. People were adopting
what
these
Fran
technologies
said.
faster than we had expected. And so to me, it was a way to go and actually express
That's
ourselves
true, Ghost.
through our products. But I realized we had to organize ourselves for it. And going back to my earlier point, I realized we need a core models and a core
That's true,
infrastructure
Mason.
team
It went from
to
YouTube
power
to
everything
AI
we are
tube.
doing across Google. So a lot of my initial energy
Yeah,
was
pretty
to
much Smurf.
go set that up. One AI team. We had world-class research teams in Brain and DeepMind, bringing that together as Google DeepMind, which was harder than it sounds, because it's like saying, go put Stanford and MIT together and create a department out of it, or a university out of it. So I think doing that well. And then at that time, I also set up with Amin Vedat, who's our SVP of AI infrastructure now, a centralized infrastructure team, which has paid great dividends.
I'm trying to wonder what
And
part
then
of Google isn't AI nowadays. I mean, based on everything he's saying. I mean, they felt so threatened by ChatGPT that Google decided to just turn their entire product and everything that they do into AI. And I mean, sure, they'll make tons of money from it. I'm sure they're making loads of money. But in terms of respect, I mean, the respect for Google is lower than it's ever been, I would argue.
Another evolution was realizing we need a chief AI architect to kind of architect this technology across Google, and Korai, taking on that role as well. So those were important changes. We obviously, made sure search needed to move faster. So search was split across many leaders. So pulling it under Elizabeth Reed with Nick Fox.
I find it interesting that he said that search. Did he say search needed
We
to be
obviously,
faster?
made sure.
Has anybody ever complained that Google search is too slow? What? Like, I don't ever remember anyone saying that ever.
So pulling it under Elizabeth Reed with Nick Fox being responsible for the overall area. Josh Woodward coming to help with our
Yeah,
labs
exactly,
product
Mystical. I've
and,
never heard anyone say
working on
that
Gemini
before.
later for driving innovation, as well as obviously I have extraordinary leaders in the company, other leaders like Philip Schindler, who runs all our operations and so on. So it is stepping back and end-to-end thinking about the structure and make sure we are set up well for this moment where we need to move faster as a company, which meant we needed to make faster decisions. I set up these new product reviews once a week. These were, they were AI product reviews, making sure
Oh, really? All
we
AI
are
product
intentful
reviews, huh?
about how we apply this technology, where we apply them, and wanted to review everything firsthand. That anything to do with AI, which we were shipping to users, went through that channel. And I spent time directly with whoever was working on it.
Yeah. We have a decoder question I ask everybody is about decisions. You're describing a lot of big decisions, some of them uncomfortable as you change people around. How do you make decisions? What's your framework?
A big part of my framework is over time understanding that there are very, very few decisions which are really consequential, and most decisions aren't. So what matters much more is that you make the decision, because that's what determines the velocity of an organization. And so the more you're able to make those decisions and keep the company moving forward, you're generally better off.
That's the problem right there. Like the problem is that they say moving forward, right? But to them, moving forward is just AI. Lag, it's jumping back to solid 20 seconds on the stream. Really? Is it lagging for you guys? Type of 1 if the stream is lagging, type of 2 if it's not. Because on my end, everything looks fine. Okay, well, yeah, it looks like the stream's not lagging for most. For those of you guys who it's lagging for, it might just be either a YouTube thing or, I mean, I don't know. It's probably a YouTube thing. So on my OBS studio, it'll tell me if their frames dropped or if it's lagging or whatever. Looks good on my end. Let me know if it gets better or worse, guys.
Off. Of course, there are a few decisions like combining and setting up Google DeepMind. Those are more consequential, and you want to take your time deliberating and doing it. But a lot of decision making is about just making them, and so the more you're able to do that, you do develop over time.
William, you said you wonder why Firefox doesn't have a search engine. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I don't know if they do or don't, but if Firefox had a search engine, I'd definitely use it. I love Firefox.
Some pattern matching, and some intuition for you've seen a version of the problem before, and so I think it's good to rely on that and separate the signal from the noise. So that
I mean, the thing is what's called like with like you get some of you guys saying the stream's lagging, stuff like that. I mean, if you guys have seen the recent videos, YouTube in general has been like experiencing so many different problems. If you guys missed it, I made a little short yesterday. It wasn't long enough to be a long form video, but like people were saying the video descriptions are missing on mobile, right? And then people are saying that the YouTube client is lagging. Then people are saying that they can't see views on videos anymore. I mean, YouTube has been experiencing a crazy amount of bugs, and it all seems to happen right after YouTube fired a bunch of employees and turned it all into AI. Pretty interesting coincidence, right?
Really important decision, and you want to really deliberate around it, versus this is just, it may look big, but it is more a normal course of action you need to take.
Yeah. I'm looking around the industry. Your peers in big tech have some of the wildest org chart ideas I've ever heard in my entire life. I think Meta wants to have 50 engineers report to a single manager with the power of agents. Jack Dorsey at Block wants all.
Yeah, I think Meta would be the last company that you'd want to follow in terms of doing anything.
1,000 people to report to him. Are you having similar thoughts?
Yeah, that's
that
true,
you
Ink.
Invent some of the craziest org charts with AI ever?
Look, I think leaders and people are incredibly important, and I think our company is. Depends on what the company. Some companies are, have a much more narrower suite of products, and so different structure may work. When you're running something at the scale of, take the scale of Google Cloud, right? I think.
Hey, thank you for the $2, Norby. It says you need to follow me in order to DM you. Are you talking about on Twitter? Just do it on Discord then.
And that there is a CEO in
I'd appreciate
charge.
the $2.
And, we are serving all the top enterprises in the world at a scale, so how do you set up for that? So I think great leaders end up mattering a lot. Like we have Thomas there. So I think about it. What I do think about it is how are we using AI more effectively, and we have seen the transition internally, particularly amongst our developers, where we have transitioned from using AI tools to assist coding to, a portion of the engineers working.
So interesting that they say AI tools to assist coding. Let me show you how they assist coding. They said that 75% of their company's new code is AI generated. Pretty interesting way to say assist. All right, calm down with the racism, guys.
AI tools to assist coding to, them, a portion of the engineers working, directing teams of agents effectively more and more. And so I think those are transitions underway, and I think that will flow beyond just engineering into the rest of the organization. It's already happening. Like even the work we are doing in Gemini Spark is to give that superpower to the hands of consumers, what you can do with these agentic workflows, etc. So I'm more focused on making sure we are actually deploying that capability in a native way and that it's working well. Because for us,
it's just deep humor.
More than just making the company efficient, it's the products we provide to humor. Others. Right. So I look at it with a very different lens. How we do it internally is what we are giving to users outside. We use anti-gravity internally. That's what we are providing outside. So the agents in anti-gravity is what our developers are using. And so that's what we are trying to put outside. So it has that extra dimension to it.
The number one question Dakota listeners want me to start asking CEOs, I'll just ask it straightforwardly. How close is AI to replacing you as the CEO?
It is today, still, I just think the CEO job is not that complicated, right? It is not complicated. There's a big, there are aspects of it where I think it's going to be very, very helpful in terms of decision making. I joke around.
The funny thing is he kind of proved this guy's point, like by saying, "Oh, the CEO job is not that complicated." So, if being a CEO of one of the biggest companies in the world, according to you, is not that complicated, then I guess AI can replace you, which is why everybody is so crazy.
Partially joke around, which is like I have to spend a lot of time allocating compute. And I'm like, well, that seems like the AI is going to make more rational choices over time because I deal with a lot.
Oh my God.
Of appeals and
the
emotion.
AI will make more rational choices. I assume he is trying to say because a human being is biased and has emotional, pull in terms of their decision making, but more rational choices from AI, the same AI that was telling you to put glue in your pizza, the same AI on, I don't know. I mean, that's just crazy.
As part of working through a process like that. So I think, look, everywhere what I see, and which may be a bit different to how I think done correctly, these tools are going
That's true, Hoppy.
Kind of allow us to operate at the next level in everything we are doing. Like, it's not like you won't do what you were doing before. You will start from a higher foundation. I wasn't there when, spreadsheets rolled out to companies, right? And I have to go think back. How did people do all this financial analysis before, right? And I'm sure it changed over a period of 3 to 4 years.
I don't know. Like he brings up things like Google Spreadsheets or Google Docs and all that type of stuff. But from what I understand, all of that type of stuff was coded by actual human beings. And there's not really like an AI generation aspect of it. And for those of you guys who know coding in the comments, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. Like I feel like Google Spreadsheet or whatever they're called, Google Sheets is a lot different than AI generating an answer to any question you have. I feel like that's not the same thing at all.
Fundamentally, and we got used to it. I think agents, etc., is a version of it. It's not like you're not going to plan birthday parties. It is just that, let's say you're planning a trip somewhere, maybe you're actually spending your time thinking about the actual things you want to do with your time versus chasing opening times and how to get tickets and so on. So I think it elevates everything to a different foundation is how I think about it.
Let me ask you about that. And agents, some of those demos are fascinating. The idea that the search is going to build custom software for everybody.
Exactly, YLG.
That seems like an idea in software engineering, a first impression, right? The idea that the computer, you're going to ask it a question and the response will be for it to make you software that helps you get to an answer. I'm fascinated by this idea. But that is fundamentally changing search. And then you kind of look
Here we go.
at Gemini Spark, which is your agent platform in the cloud, where you will say, go book me some tickets, and Spark might run around and book you some tickets or do some tasks for you. And then there's Anti-Gravity, the agentic coding platform. Broadly, every year there's like a new paradigm for AI, right? There was LLMs first, and then maybe we're going to chain some LLMs together. Then there's reasoning, and then now we're at agents. Is this the foundation, or is there another paradigm shift to come?
I think it's a great question. We are laying most of the building blocks in place. I think fundamentally being able to reason, use tools, and code, are a lot of having intelligence and reasoning, being able to plan, being able to.
The word innovation is funny to me. AI generating something is innovation. I don't know. That doesn't seem like the right use of that word.
Look up things, use tools, and if you need as part of that to build something. So you are kind of laying all the primitives, and obviously anti-gravity is for developers, but the anti-gravity engine, the harness, is built into a Gemini now, right? And Spark is just a mode of Gemini. Over time, it's a feature. We're positioning it, but it's just a tab within Gemini. And so you're bringing that agentic harness. Users don't need to think about. Developers will understand it. Over time, in Spark, they can code powerful things. But as users, you may be building something, creating something, planning a trip, and all that is working behind the scenes. So I do think we are, laying a lot of the primitives of what we need agents to work end to end, or more importantly, AI to work. This long-running vision of assistant we have all had and worked through myriad forms of it, and failing.
Kind of a long, drawn-out answer, man.
I think we are
closer
than
that complicated
ever
of a
before
question.
to deliver on that promise. We haven't delivered it yet, but that's the journey which I think is closer than ever before.
I look at all the products, and they do seem like they should converge, right? You have the new intelligent search box, and I definitely want to talk about search in more detail. But you look at that search box, and then you look at it's Canvas that makes you the apps. You're planning a wedding, and it'll just make you an app to help you plan a trip or a wedding or something. And then you have Spark, where it can go off and do things. And I looked at that, and I was talking to people yesterday, and it just seems obvious that should be one product.
It will. So the agents, just like I gave the earlier notebook example of you're creating notebooks. What are notebooks? You're effectively putting all the context you want in one place and then working off it.
The thing is, obviously they're all gung-ho on AI, right? And they're going to do AI stuff no matter what. But it just kind of goes to show it's kind of like a deeper message, right? Of how greedy people can be and a company can be. Google is already, as we speak, the second biggest company in the world. They already have Google search, which dominates every single search engine combined times 100. They already have YouTube, which is the second most visited website in the world. And they make billions of dollars off of each product that I just mentioned, but they still want more money with AI. I mean, that is crazy.
Folders, as they've always existed in for people, and notebook should be a consistent primitive across the Google products you use. I just view agents that way. It shouldn't matter, and so I do think when you're at the earliest stage of innovation, you create the capability. I think teams
innovation
are experimenting with it. But for a user over time, if you fire off planning a trip, it should work across both places. This is how I would think about it. You're right in that.
There's something very important about Google search. It is a source of truth for people for however many years, decades now. Go Google it and you'll get an answer, and that answer is the same for you and me generally, has been a very important idea. It's, I think, a fixture in the culture. Maybe Google is the last company saying it will just tell you the truth out of all the companies out there. Okay, we're going to infinitely personalize the search box. We're going to infinitely personalize the search experience. And we're all going to get different answers to queries. We're all going to maybe even look at different interfaces depending on what we're asking,
innovation
what our personal
without AI.
context is, how much data Google has.
That's probably the Google slogan right there.
Do you think about that profoundly? How much can you destabilize the last sort of common source of truth most people experience on the internet?
Look, I think there are factors well beyond our control, which is people today have a wider variety of sources than ever before. So I think people are getting content from so many different sources. But within the world of Google, I still think we deeply care about this being a source of knowledge and information. I think there are objective experiences.
But wouldn't you want that knowledge and information to be as accurate as possible? And it's already been proven millions of times that AI isn't super accurate, especially compared to like human peer-reviewed studies and articles and stuff. I mean, I don't know.
This isn't subjective experiences, right? What's the capital of the USA?
He looks like an evil Jeff Goldblum. I do kind of see that.
It's not going to be custom created for anyone, right? These are objective things. Help me plan a nice trip to Montreal for a weekend. Naturally, the answers don't need to be the same for everyone, right? So there is a continuum there. I do think the more, so we deeply care about, for certain categories of information, we do still anchor around authoritative information to present as much of a objective view as possible. And if it is health-related queries, we naturally tend to show more authoritative answers than if you're saying, what sweater should I go buy?
Yeah.
Right.
What if we're saying disregard? Then what happens? Then what happens? I mean, it seems like everything just breaks. I don't know.
Can I show you a search result? A
Yeah.
few years ago, I showed you a search result. I've been tracking this one for years.
I always love amongst the 10 trillion queries.
Yes. Well, this one's a favorite.
We have a very scientific, statistical way of doing this.
I think this is important. I want to get into how consumers might be experiencing these products. So this is a search I just do all the time for best Chromebook. I'll just show it to you. There it is. So it starts with an AI overview. It just very confidently tells you the answer. And then there's a bunch of sponsored boxes. And then the one that gets me is right below that. I believe the result is Reddit. And it has a top result in Reddit. It's actually a different answer than the AI overview. And then there's the Times, which has a different answer. And you kind of scroll this and you're like, the AI overview is telling me one thing. The first organic result is like fairly down the page. And all of these are different answers. And I hear what you're saying about objective results and subjective results. What laptop should I buy is somewhere in the middle of those things.
Yeah. I heard this guy, like the interviewer, is actually going to press him. Like, not press him super hard, obviously, because otherwise the Google CEO wouldn't do the interview. But he does definitely press him. He literally just showed him a search result, which is kind of showing his point about, how inaccurate the AI overviews can be.
Right. And I'm just curious how you think that experience for consumers is today in AI mode and where you think it should go.
Look, I think, to be very clear, in the world of AI overviews and AI mode, we are organizing, giving context, but there are sources throughout. So you're still presenting organic content in a different way, right? So, there are links and sources you're giving to, but there is an opinion to go with it too, which is what you're talking about. I do think, some of this will be iterative with users, right? I think one of the great things we find with search is it's easy to measure.
It's funny you mentioned Schlepp, Big Boss. He actually messaged me the other day and we were talking about something. What were we talking about? I completely forgot. We were talking about Discord.
User satisfaction. For 25 years, we've learned to measure user happiness, user satisfaction in a correlated way with improving the quality of the product, not for short-term.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we do these long-term studies. And if we get wrong, or get any experience wrong, it shows in the metrics.
Thanks,
and
Lone
the course
Wolf.
correct.
Yeah.
Right. And we pride on the
on Discord. No, about Discord. Me and Schlepp were talking about Discord. He made a tweet about the Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton going ahead and suing Discord, and we were just talking about the fact that Ken Paxton might not be. Let's just say he might not be the best person on planet Earth. Some of you guys might know what I'm talking about.
Ability to track this over longer term, be it engagement sessions, returning to a topic, the number of bounce backs they do. So very, very sophisticated way of looking at it. I think in some areas like that, I think the experience will continue to evolve. you're
Do you
right.
think that experience is good today?
I think it's probably more opinionated than it should be for the particular query you showed me. That's how that was my reaction as a user, right? So I think that's a scope for improvement is how I would say in a fast evolving space. And, but I would expect that to happen in the product, right? Like my intuition there is, that's way...
Yeah, but okay, so I understand what he's saying, but okay, so if the AI overview is different than what other people would say in terms of buying the best MacBook or whatever it's called, Chromebook, whatever, right? How come, what about the errors that Google AI overviews make when you give it a command like disregard or stop or pause and stuff like that? And it tells you, yeah, I'm going to pause. And then it wasn't even doing anything prior to that. So what is it pausing? You know what I mean? That type of stuff, you would think that Google, with all their money and resources, would iron that type of stuff out in their AI technology. But it seems like even their AI technology, which should be some of the best in the world, is still kind of ass. Which just begs the question, why do you guys force the AI down our throats when we use Google search? Why can you guys not allow us to have the option to turn it off? Just seems strange, you know?
More opinionated. There is some chance that's personalized to you, may be testing it in a way that you're uniquely personalizing. You are the reason that query might not be exactly representative, though I think because I know how you review all these things, so there is some chance you're in the 0.0001%.
Well, this is kind of why I'm asking about infinitely personalizable results, right? And I'm also asking if the experience is good, because I would bet that most people experience AI in Google search, like all the time. They have that experience, or they get kicked to AI mode. And there's the stuff you can measure about user satisfaction. And then there's how the public feels about AI. And I think there's a
I'm glad he's bringing this up, because that is the damning question against Google. Why do you guys keep forcing AI down our throats when everybody hates it, you know?
Gap in, hey, there's these user numbers going up and we're close to 1 billion users, and the free products people are experiencing, how good they might be. And then just the polling data. Young people dislike AI. It is as objective as that gets. You can go ask them and they will tell you in measurable ways they dislike it. Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, was booed at a college graduation speech he was giving. 7 in 10 Americans oppose data center construction. There's some gap between the...
I'm so glad you bring this up. Shout out to this guy.
Product experiences people are having and how they feel about the technology. Do you think you can close that gap? Do you think these products are good enough?
I think it is a very profound topic, and I feel like you're linking the two things. I think people.
Yeah, Newt. If you guys didn't see, I think it was a former Google CEO, right, guys? Correct me if I'm wrong. He gave some sort of speech somewhere about AI at some college campus, and they booed him harder than Hitler, dude. They booed the shit out of him, and I was like, oh my god. I mean, it's good though. I mean, it's really good.
Rightfully so. AI is the most profound technology humanity is going to deal with. It's happening at a very fast pace. I don't think humans are evolved for processing this much change, and the rate of change, particularly over the last few years, is
I saw that
incredibly high. And people, rightfully so, particularly with all what they're hearing, I think people are trying.
No, definitely not, RJ. I would still say Meta is way worse than Google. Meta makes Google look like an angelic company. Meta makes Google look like the Care Bears. I mean, Meta themselves are lobbying for ID age verification. They want to harvest everyone's data. And I know on some level Google wants to as well, but Meta is, in my opinion, the most evil company. I mean, or at least the most evil social media company. I hate Meta.
To understand the future and in the personal context of their lives, including, what it means at an economic...
Humans aren't evolved enough as his response. Yeah, he's basically saying we're not ready for this amount of change, which, if anything, doesn't that go against the point of having AI rapidly adapt into your product? I mean, he's kind of arguing against AI usage on Google, but yeah.
Level and so on, right? And so, to me,
it
really makes sense why there is anxiety around this technology, and I think we should be very attuned to that. And I think that's an important topic, and I think that's much broader and bigger than the facets of what's happening. People don't directly associate these two all the time. In some cases, yes, they're linked in certain ways.
Wait, can I think people experience.
Get him, buddy. What's this guy's name? Nilay? Sorry if I'm butchering that. Shout out. Get him.
Experience the free versions of these models in various products. I think they open their social media feeds and they see slop. I think they see headlines about all that stuff. I think they have the tools
Just ignore them,
just sort of presented to them. The Gemini Sparkle shows up in all the Google products, whether you ask for it or not. And then I do think you link it to, oh, they're asking for a lot of electricity and maybe my rates will go up and maybe all the jobs will go away. And that's pretty scary. And I don't know if the value exchange is there.
I think these are good things to study. I think you're being too specific on what's happening versus I'm just broadening it out and saying that might be part of the explanation. I do think there are other...
I mean, of course he's being specific. Those are the direct concerns that people give about AI. When people talk about AI, those are the main things that they bring up, that things are moving too fast, that electricity is getting more expensive, that they don't like data centers, that they're just going to be taking jobs. I mean, I don't think he was being too specific at all. I think he was asking the right question there.
Deeper factors too.
Do you think it's just a marketing problem? I've heard your peers say that AI just has a marketing problem.
No, I don't think so. That's the point I'm making. I'm in fact arguing against it. I think it makes sense to me why people would feel concerns about it. It feels natural to me. You know, people are standing and telling about how AI could make a lot of jobs go away, right? And like, you know, why would
and earlier you literally said that being the CEO of Google isn't that complicated. You said that. So with your own logic, couldn't AI just replace you? If AI can replace the CEO of Google, it can replace any of us at any job. I mean, I don't know.
You feel a sense of anxiety about it, right? And like, you know, I think those are deeper issues which we have to tackle as a society. That doesn't mean, yes, there's concern about AI slop at a product level. All that are true. All I'm pointing out is it's a multi-layered problem, but I don't think all the source of the data center angst is directly related to one specific experience you're having in a product or something alone like that. That's all the point I'm making.
It's not associated with one single product, but all those products, you know, in unison are linked with the AI data center issues, right? And as Google being one of the biggest companies in the world, they are one of the biggest contributors to all the AI slop and data center issues going on in the world right now. Right? I don't have any statistical evidence to back that up, but I mean, it's kind of common sense, right?
Right. It is broader and bigger than that. I do think there's a lot of AI slop out there. Like I feel.
Yeah, you ever gone on YouTube.com?
So, you know, in an early phase of technology with the competitive dynamic that
Which, speaking of
exists,
which, that's actually kind of a good segue. Tomorrow, my video tomorrow, guys, will be about, I don't know if you guys saw, but YouTube is going to start labeling videos that have AI in it. Like, they're going to label it on the video itself, which is a good change, but, you know, I have some issues with the update, but I don't want to spoil the video. But yeah, that'll be the video for tomorrow.
I think a lot of things are getting rolled out. But we also see empirically how people are using these products in very deep ways. And you know, I think not all of it is...
Yes, Franz, it is a good change by YouTube, but there is a little
hasn't come and
nuance in it that I'm not a fan of.
Self-driving cars, what you get
You
in
can
the
find that
post
out
is
in the
different
next
from
video.
how they feel when they use these
Thank you,
cars.
AnCap Gamer. Yeah, if you guys could like the stream, I'd appreciate that.
Things. People have pretty negative views of the internet too, by the way, if you go poll, right? If you ask about the internet.
Really? Okay, now we're reaching, right? People have very negative opinions about the interview or the internet, and he says, is he trying to say that people view the internet nearly as negatively as they view AI? Really? Yeah, there are people out there that say the internet is addictive and dangerous, but with AI, they say AI could fucking take over the entire planet and destroy everyone's jobs and livelihoods in the environment. Come on now. Don't act like the internet as a whole is as hated as AI is, because it's not even close.
As they, you know, but it's a fabric of our lives and we have to adapt to it. So all of that is simultaneously happening, I think. It's a complex topic. To me, it feels like people are worried about rising energy prices. And if so, they want to make sure AI is not exacerbating the problem, right? And that's a valid concern. And I think
that's the problem.
And it's up to us as an industry to make sure if we are building data centers, what can we do to make sure we aren't contributing to that problem? So I think that I view it as our responsibility, not just us.
I mean, of course you're
and
contributing to the
government, I
problem.
think,
You're putting
there's
AI in all your
bipartisan,
products.
Concerns around some of the stuff. So for example, there's a ratepayer pledge we all signed up to with a set of commitments. Maybe there needs to be more done. I think all of that goes hand in hand. I think it's important to talk about topics like skilling, workforce, adaptations. I think we are driving a lot of change very fast through society. I think those end up being very important topics as well. So I think there's concerns at all those levels, and I expect those concerns to be meaningful as we go forward. I think it is. Many years ago, I said this is more profound than fire or electricity.
Yeah.
And so I've always felt that. And so,
Really? You think AI is more profound than fire or electricity? So it's an interesting take.
or think about deep fakes and how do you know whether something is, these models are getting better at simulating reality.
That is a crazy take right there. AI is more profound than electricity is already crazy. AI is more profound than fire. The thing that people have used to live and build entire civilizations, AI is more profound than fire. Historically, like if you guys have studied history in school, that is quite an insane take right there. One of the elements of the planet Earth, AI is more profound. Okay, buddy.
This is why we were working so hard. We built SynthID. We are open sourcing it. We are pulling many, many partners together. And it's great for me to see the industry collaborate on a topic like this. Cybersecurity is another good example. I think these are all real concerns, right? So I do think as an industry, we need to do more. Governments will have a stronger role to play.
Exactly.
So all of that. And the public needs to be involved. You cannot have the most consequential technology rolling out to the world in a way.
That's like saying bread is more profound than wheat.
Democracies without the public citizens rightfully having a voice around it.
Yeah.
So to me, it is really important that we go through this phase, and that's how we learn how to adapt.
Yeah. I'll leave it. I think my argument is that the products do the marketing work, and that's my push. I'm still waiting to see the killer app for consumers that does it. I think we have the killer app for enterprise. I want to talk about the web though, before I burn all of.
Point. There are times I've gone through a health journey in Gemini.
Yeah.
It feels more than a killer app to me.
Yeah.
Better than anything I've ever done before. So, so I think it's, so people are.
Yeah, but okay, I'm going to assume he's asking Gemini some questions about diet and exercise, but obviously your information would be much more accurate from someone who actually has expertise in the field as opposed to an AI overview. They'll probably tell you to eat glue to lose weight or something. I don't know.
Going through those experiences too.
Yeah. I want to talk about the web. The health journey in Gemini that requires a rich data set of health information on the web to exist. VO requires, I believe, you're training Gemini in like YouTube videos, right? Like VO requires the YouTube ecosystem to operate and to be fruitful, to make new work in. You and I have discussed the concept I call Google Zero for many years, the idea that you will stop sending traffic to the web. You've disagreed with me that this is real.
Very much so.
This last week...
It hasn't happened in the last many years.
Well, I'm just going to read you a quote. This is Google Zero for many years, the idea that you will stop sending...
Oh, okay, so this guy, from what I understand, has coined the term Google Zero, which means that if you use an AI overview on Google, you won't ever actually visit an actual website. Therefore, Google is making it so a bunch of websites have zero traffic. And again, shout out to this guy for actually pressing him on this.
You and I have discussed the concept I call Google Zero for many years, the idea that you will stop sending traffic to the web. You've disagreed with me that this is real.
Very much so.
This last week...
It hasn't happened in the last many years.
Well, I'm just going to read you a quote. This time it's not me, and I didn't feed this to him. But Roger Lynch, the CEO of Condé Nast, he did an interview with TBPN last week, and he said, I'm just going to read you a quote, "Every year our search traffic was down more than we had forecast. So last year I told our teams, assume there is no search. You have to have your businesses planned as if search is zero." That is Google Zero. Condé Nast is saying, we're assuming that search will go to zero. How would you respond to that?
I mean, before we get to his response, that's correct. How can the Google CEO argue against that? If you look something up and an AI overview gives you the answer, why would you go to that website? For what? You already got your answer. Why would you go to the website? I don't know. I don't understand how he can weasel his way out of this, but because he's a CEO, I'm sure he'll find a way.
Right? The idea, one of the biggest, most iconic publishers in the world is saying, I can't depend on this anymore.
Look, first of all, the information ecosystem is so much broader beyond Google. By far, we see it in the data. You see it everywhere. So if any publisher over the last 10 years, I would look at Verge and I would say where you were when you first took over, how much it's evolved since then, the types of content you make.
But he keeps pointing out that like their use of AI is evolving. I would argue that it's devolving. That's not innovation. That's laziness.
That content out, how all you users are coming to you. I think it's exceptionally dynamic, and so it makes sense to me every publisher is adapting to this new world. We are adapting to the evolving world, how users are consuming technology. We had to do when the world shifted from web to mobile. We are shifting it from a world of mobile to people having ongoing conversations, chatting with these products, talking to them, consuming it in voice and many different form factors. People are expressing preferences for various types of content. They're looking for user-generated content. They're looking for podcasts. They're looking for that. Through it all, we are very committed to both meeting user expectations and also connecting them to what's out on the web. And just even in the last year,
he didn't answer his question at all, by the way. Yeah, exactly, France. His question was, the interview's question was, what do you think about the fact that websites don't get traffic anymore because Google AI overviews are giving the information directly to the person who's Googling it, as opposed to visiting the actual website and getting the answer there. And now he's giving this speech about evolving, like he's talking about Pokemon or something. I don't know. It's not answering the question.
Since we've launched these features, we've gone back, we've added more links. Another area where behavior is changing. Many publishers, rightfully so, are thinking about subscription models.
Sure. But I'm just saying, Condé Nast is saying, we're going to assume...
I love how this guy's president, man. It's not in a disrespectful way, but it's definitely in a, hey, you didn't really answer my question.
Our search traffic is zero, given the trends that we see. Look, should they assume that?
I mean, this is, I always view people understand their businesses better. I mean, I'm not in a position to tell such an iconic publisher what they should think about their business or plan. If they are building content which is high quality and people like it, I expect us to reflect that in our products. That much I can commit to them, right? So that's what my but I think more than any other company, through this evolution, we are working very hard to make sure people can get connected, and we are planning to do it in search and Gemini, and that's still underpins a lot of what we do. But there is evolution. Like as the technology improves, low quality clicks get filtered out. That's a natural evolution we see. We see it in our metrics. Bounce clicks are going down. Mm-hmm. And so those are all dynamic, and people are going to a wider array of information. So, and there are more people producing information than ever before. So that pie is growing faster so all these dynamics are happening. It's a complex ecosystem, but our commitment to, making sure we reflect the vastness and diversity of the content, and we do think people want to connect ultimately.
He still didn't really answer the question.
To these sources, but we are trying to meet them in those moments, and people come with very different intent in very different moments. One of the small features we have done, but very important, I think, is if you've subscribed to something, reflect that as a preferred source for you as a user. But that's a new change which we didn't have before. We are adapting to the fact that publishers are increasingly, turning to subscribe offerings too.
Publishers YouTube creators, should they be able to opt out of training to get surfaced in search?
I mean, this is
Hell yeah. The answer should be yes, and there shouldn't be an explanation here.
a much broader topic. I do think, I think both, laws and regulations will have to evolve. The courts will have to weigh in. It's important to protect copyright. It's important to protect fair use, and so these are constructs which will evolve dynamically through that.
It's
But do you
yes
want to
or
be
no
in a
question.
bunch of lawsuits with YouTube?
It's literally a yes or no question, and he's pushing him right here by asking him if he wants to be sued by all of these YouTubers.
Constructs which will evolve dynamically through that.
But do you want to be in a bunch of lawsuits with YouTube creators? You're in a lawsuit with publishers in the UK. The rhetoric in that lawsuit is getting increasingly heated. Google has said that the proposed solution is a, quote, free rider charter. Every year, the News Media Association sends me a quote to read to you. And they say, Google calling us free riders is obviously ridiculous and ignores basic supply chain economics. If the value were really all on Google's side, they would simply allow publishers to opt out. Do you want to be in that same fight with a bunch of creators on YouTube about opting out?
Look,
Once again, it's another yes or no question, but the answer is never yes or no.
we are constantly, as part of Gemini, developing. We did offer a new opt-out that Google extended, and we are in conversations with publishers. We'll take feedback and over times, work through what makes sense. And obviously, it is we are not the only player in a big ecosystem. We are also trying to put out products.
I mean, you're not the only player, but you're the biggest player. Google is player one, bro. Every other company is just riding their coattails, really.
Are competitive to other products out there, right? And I think all the publishers will also write an article saying the product is not very, so this is more complicated than it looks. And
I think you have spent more time thinking about the web and the health of the web and the necessity of the web. Paint me the picture for what a healthy web looks like.
I actually
in an
find
agentic search world.
one of the
AI-free.
arguments I've made over time, and I actually see it playing around a little bit more. I've started using the web more again over the last year and a half.
Oh, what? I mean, shit, I'd hope so. You're the CEO of Google.
I think all these AI experiences have brought the web back more. There was a time when it felt like, but I always felt the web would be vibrant. In fact, I've argued the web is going to be vibrant every year.
Yeah.
And, I would still argue it today. The web is constantly evolving. I've never seen anything as dynamic as the web, which is why it's been such a privilege.
It's like he just discovered the internet or something.
Evolution. I look at agents. That is the next evolution of the web, which we will deal with. And, and I think it will evolve the web pretty profoundly. And there will be a lot of debates about what's okay, what's not. And but I think the web will continue to be, people want to put out information, connect with other people. People want to be connected. People aren't trying to be in a siloed world, detached. That doesn't reflect the reality of the human experience. And I think the web is going to play as central a role on it as ever before. In fact, the Universal Commerce Protocol, if anything, what we announced yesterday, I think people slightly are underestimating the impact of it.
Guys, I understand that some of us might not like these CEOs and stuff like that, but what's with the racism? Stop that shit. If you guys don't like the CEOs, that's fine, but stop with the racism. I don't want to see all that. If you're going to do that, get out of here.
Is that there are a lot of muscular announcements about new products, new features, and agentic tools you can use, and UCP and Amazon and Walmart and everyone, we're going to use a new standard we're building for shopping. And all that is very tangible. And then I/O ended with Demis Hassabis, the CEO of DeepMind, coming out. And he said this thing that I have not been able to stop.
Yeah, because I just removed the comment, buddy. What do you mean? There was racism.
He said, Google's cutting-edge research and products will help unlock AGI's incredible potential for the benefit of the entire world. When we look back at this time, I think we will realize that we were standing in the foothills of the singularity. Can you tell me what it means to be in the foothills of the singularity?
I mean, I'm just saying, right? 99% of you guys have brains and you guys have common sense, right? But okay, there's plenty of reasons to criticize him and Neil and other CEOs around the world. But the whole being dicks and being racist, I mean, if you're going to do that, just get the fuck out of this channel. I don't want to see it.
But Demis and I have had long, deep conversations on this
figured.
topic. I think in this context, I think for him, the advent of AGI is what he thinks of as the singularity. And, and I
Do you have a definition of AGI? Have you debated? Do you have an agreement?
we debate it a lot. I think both Demis and I are very close to how we think about and, we think about AGI in the, there is a harder definition of AGI, which is, that it has to be more comprehensively do, the wide range of tasks, including cognitive tasks, in a way that's comparable. So I think we'll at some point actually put it out as a company, I think, and we are working on that. But I think that's what he's talking about in this context. By the way, I think it's important for us to understand that this technology is progressing very rapidly. And, later today, I'll be going and spending time with our AI researchers.
What's up, Jill? How are you doing?
Not just in our company, but amongst the frontier labs. I think there's wide consensus that this technology, AGI is, people may quibble around is it like 3 years, 5, but the technology is sooner rather than later. And so I think it's more important to communicate that, because that's what, to an earlier part of the conversation, it's important that we as a society understand it and are preparing as much as possible.
I asked you this question, maybe the first time we ever talked about AI, I asked you if language was intelligence. And, the progression here is we're layering more and more on LLMs. We're doing longer chains of reasoning, we're building harnesses, we're doing all this stuff. But the core technology is still, transformers. It's still the thing Google invented so long ago.
You would think, AGI? But now all their new code is 75% AI generated. I don't know. I think it's just all their foundation is AI now, which is very unfortunate.
Is that path clear?
The trajectory over the last 3 years has been incredible.
We're almost at the end of this interview here, but I just want to ask you guys just a question. How do you guys think the interviewer did? Type of 1 if you think he did a good job. Type of 2 if you don't think he did a good job. He actually did press the CEO a decent amount.
And looking ahead, it looks, the LLMs of today are, have evolved in many ways too. So we are constantly evolving it. And to me, it's like asking, can computers get us to the way, the von Neumann?
Yeah, I agree. I would lean more 1 than 2 because, I know a lot of you guys want him to just get in there and be like, how fucking dare you do this to Google search, blah, blah, blah. But that's not how the real world that's not how the real world works. Like, word salad here. He can't just press him super hard and be like, how dare you do this? He's going to get up and leave, you know what I mean? Or he's going to say, hey, I don't want this interview to air or whatever. If you want the interview to air and for people to see it, you can press him, but you have to do it obviously in a respectable way. You know what I mean?
Architecture is still what powers most computers today, but he
just wish he insisted on him answering the questions. Yeah, I think he tried though. He definitely did try, but at the end of the day, if the CEO gives a 5-minute answer to each question and just dodges and dances around your question, it's kind of hard to reel him in without being a little aggressive, All I'm saying is I'm glad he at least pressed him a little bit. You guys have no idea how many interviews I've seen specifically with the YouTube CEO where they just kind of let him talk out of his booty. You know what I mean?
Nice, the modern one of our TPU pods, right? And or maybe he would, there's still a lot.
Yeah, Norby, that's true. But it's okay. I understand. Some people in here are younger and they think you just go in there fucking swords blazing. How dare you do this? But that's not how the real world works. Why can I not say that? The real world works. Peter Piper picked a pepper, whatever, all that.
Commonality to it. So I think the underlying technology keeps evolving so profoundly. I look at every year we've had major breakthroughs
of AI.
You just saw his demo in anti-gravity and ability to prompt.
We'll read some of the comments too after the video.
It's very dangerous for Google to be able to make new operating systems.
we'll have to make sure we don't token max on creating. I'll give you that. It's fair, but that is the power of what these things are doing, right? There are the top mathematicians in the world, top physicists in this world who are interacting with these tools and using them in important ways. But we still, can these tools go fundamentally make novel scientific discoveries on their own? Not yet, right? And so It's both remarkable how much it's progressed. I do think it has important evolutions
Guess
to
tongue
happen.
twisters aren't your forte. Not really. I'm not very well spoken. I'm pretty dumb. The only one I know is how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
And then there are strong opinions out there in the world about how much of a real understanding of the world you need to take that next leap. I'm pretty optimistic that we will continue to make a lot of progress.
Yeah.
Progress.
All right. So last question. What is your timeline? Is it 3 years, 5 years, AGI? Where are you at?
I have always answered it this way. I think that timeline doesn't matter because the rate of progress means you're dealing with ever more intelligent systems in a profound way.
I don't have any money,
Norby.
Norby. How am I?
3 years from now, whether
How am I gonna
you and I call it AGI
make a
or
search
not,
engine?
doesn't matter because it'll be very, very powerful and we have to prepare for it.
Yeah. Sundar, this was great. Thank you so much for taking time yet again.
Thanks, Nila. Pleasure.
Not bad, not bad. I think this, like I said, I think the interviewer did a pretty good job overall at pressing the CEO. I mean, again, I know it wasn't as aggressive as some of you guys would like, but that's just not how reality is. I mean, you have to be a little bit like considerate and not pissing the guy off to the point where he leaves. You know what I mean? But let's just read some of the comments just for fun. So top comment. Actually, let's refresh the page real quick so we have more updated comments. But let's go down here and check this out. Please stop spamming the same thing, Act. No, it's not my forever search engine. I use some other search engine. Just stop spamming the same thing. With every answer, he does a very good job of finding another way to say, well, things are changing a lot everywhere, and we're all going to adapt to them. Yeah, that's pretty much all he kept saying over and over again. Curious how much of the long-term advantage comes from owning the hardware and infrastructure layer versus the models running on top of it. Just your stream delays? Well, I mean, that doesn't mean you spam the same message 10 times, right? People also hate us in other contexts too. Don't forget that. That's true. It's so funny that his pushback to people hate AI is, yeah, but it's for a ton of reasons. I mean, that is essentially what he said. That is essentially what he said. He was just like, yeah, it's not just because of AI slop in the data centers. It's also all this other plethora of reasons. And it's just like, okay, well, if anything, doesn't that mean that you shouldn't put so much AI into Google? If seems like you're arguing against yourself. So observations, I think you got too much easier ride on the AI/intellectual property Google Zero subject. You got in some really good hits, but didn't follow up too hard compared to how aggressive you were in the interview with the guy from Grammarly or CEO. Well, in fairness, right? And again, we would have to ask the interviewer to confirm if this is true or not. But sometimes when interviews are done with the CEO, they literally give the interviewer instructions like, hey, you can ask about this, but you can't ask about this. And if you do ask about this and the CEO gives a certain answer, you can press them a little bit, but eventually we want to move on to a different topic. We don't have that much time, whatever. You know what I mean? So there's a bunch of rules. It's typically not just, hey, you guys sit down for an interview. There's typically tons of rules and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I think the interviewer did for the most part, did a pretty good job. I appreciate that, ANCAP. Thank you. There's a lot other better YouTubers than me, but I appreciate the kind words. Props to, again, I'm going to butcher this, sorry, Nilay for conducting an oppositional interview. Props to, oh man, Sundar, sorry, for agreeing to and engaging in an oppositional interview. I mean, I guess props to him for agreeing to it, but I wasn't a fan of a lot of his answers, I'll be honest. Probably the first time I see CEO of a big tech company in a real interview with real questions and a lot of butt from the interview. I hope that Sundar repeats next year. Thanks, Felipe. Phenomenal question, really testing his metacognition. Honest props to Sundar for doing podcasts. Most other CEOs in his position would not. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I guess props to him for doing the podcast, but I mean, again, I wasn't a fan of most of his answers. Getting so good with interviewing people. It's cool. So overall, it seems like people were happy with the interviewer, but they weren't happy with Sundar's answers to the questions. Yeah, very, very interesting. So, hey, DP, I have a phrase I say to myself about how bad AI is. AI has become ADA, which stands for artificial dumbass. Yeah, it definitely seems that way nowadays, especially Google's AI. Um, Pretty interesting. Corporate greed is a plague on society. I agree. Totally agree. Also applies to other apps you don't use, allow you to disable them. It's true, Dakota. Thank you, Darby. I appreciate that. The question about publishers is a bit silly. No one should expect that Google or anyone will drive traffic to them. If Google stayed the same, they'd be replaced by ChatGPT. I totally disagree with this sentiment. I hear people say this a lot, and I think this is so wrong. Yes, ChatGPT was and is big, right? It was getting really big, and Google felt threatened from them. ChatGPT was not going to ever replace Google. Are you serious? Google is by far the most visited website in the world. ChatGPT had no chance to replace Google, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you guys think ChatGPT had a legitimate chance to overtake Google? I think they threatened their position for sure, but no way they were going to beat Google as the biggest search engine. I don't know. I just can't see Google losing to a company that new, you know? That's just my opinion. So much BS from Pichai? I don't believe anything he says. I ask that you reconsider providing this platform for the lives of CEOs. Instead, I'd love to see more content. Okay. Interesting take. Google is too big? Exactly, Norby. That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's no way. I mean, that's just crazy. Intro way too long, man. Oh, that's so funny. I agree with Sundar. Your AI has actually made me use the web more. I primarily use my smart device for content. Okay, well, I don't know if AI makes people use the internet more or less. I don't have any like statistical data on that. But I do know that most people who are asked about AI dislike it. I think that is proven through a lot of like polls and studies that are done, right? I mean, again, that might be debatable, but I think most people are not a fan of AI. But I guess that's kind of a hard question. That's kind of a hard statement to make because obviously you can't poll the entire world. But yeah, pretty interesting. Google should be broken up. Yeah, I mean, I just wish that even if Google wanted to ruin everything else, which obviously is still bad, for them to ruin the Google search, which is the most visited website in the world, it's pretty sad, you know? I distrust AI, but it can be interesting for brainstorming. Yeah, I don't think that that's a insane take or anything like that. I just think that a lot of people are tired of AI because it gets shoved into everything that we do. Google search is so simple. It's so effective. It's the most visited website in the world. Why did you guys have to shitify it? You know what I mean? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. And I think most people's opinion on Google and everything that they do. Same thing with YouTube, right? YouTube has always been that juggernaut in the video sharing space. So why do you guys have to do an Ask YouTube? Why do you guys have to do YouTube AI updates for everything? I mean, not everything needs AI in it. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion, and I think most people would agree. Personally, I wouldn't mind AI as much if we had a choice about AI. Also, the fact, yeah, exactly, 100%, totally. If Google just had a button, right here. Actually, you won't let me go to Google search since we're on Brave. But if Google just had a button that says, AI search or turn off AI, dude, I'm just going to turn off AI and then I'm going to use Google. But Google doesn't let you do that because they want to force you to use the AI slop updates that they have. You know what I mean? And that's the unfortunate part. They know everyone would turn it off. Exactly. And then the billions of dollars that they've invested into AI, they would look like fools for doing it. So they don't even want to give you a choice. And that's why, a service like DuckDuckGo is now flourishing, right? I mean, this is all according to DuckDuckGo, so it's possible that they could be embellishing this data or whatever. But I mean, looks like they're doing really well. Oh yeah, the playoff game is on right now, right? Hold on. Okay, I might need to check this on my phone, see what the score is. Anybody watch the NBA playoffs in here? I really hope the Thunder loses, man. Thunder versus Spurs. Oh, the Spurs are winning. Nice. Okay, good. Hopefully they win that game. All right. Personally, it's like saying you can lead a horse to water and not drink it. Yeah, pretty much. Or not make them drink. Yeah. Did we get a win with the open source exemptions, or are we still totally screwed for the future? You talk about the operating system thing? Yeah, I think that's a win. I haven't literally looked into it too much. Appreciate everybody for subscribing, by the way. Thank you guys for subbing. But yeah, I haven't looked into that too much. To be honest, the videos that I've been making about ID verification aren't getting as many views anymore, so I assumed people are getting tired of the topic. This video didn't get as many views as the other videos. This one did decently well, but I think it's about YouTube, since it's because it's about YouTube. This one is a ID verification related video that didn't do well at all compared to the other videos. So I started fizzling them out because I assumed people were starting to get tired of the topic. I've really, I mean, I'm happy that, you know, things have kind of gotten diversified on the channel, because I don't want it to just be about one thing, right? Right now, we're kind of like fluctuating between all these different topics. So one is obviously YouTube. That is like the bread and butter topic that we always have. Another one is, you know, the ID verification stuff. Another one is Google search. Another one is Discord related things, you know, Discord with their whole ID verification thing. I guess that's kind of part of ID verification. You know, I think we're starting to diversify the content a lot on the channel. So I like that, you know. You definitely deserve more subscribers. You've been my go-to news for AI for almost a year. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I mean, I honestly, it's okay that I don't have that many subscribers because I'm just not that good of a YouTuber, but I appreciate the kind words. I'm good, Mario. How are you doing? I mean, I'd be interested if you guys, like, what video or what topic on the channel made you guys subscribe? That's something I want to know. Let me know. Was it something YouTube related? Was it ID verification related? Was it the Google search stuff? Was it the deep humor drama from all, you know, that time ago? Was it Critical making a video? What was it? Like, what made you guys come over here? What's up, Dalmatian? Your posts are amazing. Thank you, Osmosis. Nearly 240k subs. I'm not that good. Yeah, I mean, I got lucky. That's why. It's not skill or something. To answer your question, it was the drama. Okay, the deep humor drama. Yeah, good news. Good times. I did it after Penguin Zero's video. Yeah. ID verification. Okay. Sub for YouTube issues. Okay. Wow, looks like a lot of people are from ID verification. Oh, that's crazy, Stuart. You know, that's so crazy, man. Deep humor drama. Okay, interesting. YouTube is featuring your stream. Oh, that's cool. Oh, it might just be on your homepage or something. I subscribed to you from your ID verification. It was your demonetization video when I got hit with inauthentic content and I looked for every video on it. Yeah, I've made a few videos on that now, inauthentic content. But what's it called? There's really not much else I can say about it. I mean, YouTube is just going on this demonetization wave. I've tried to help some people out, you know. What's up, Game Blocks? Oh, really, Red? Oh, that's crazy. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, TK. TK, you're my dog. I appreciate you, dude. Shout out to TK. Subscribe to your channel because the information without a less complicated statement, which you made, really help. Yeah, thank you, Renee. Which search engine would you recommend to use instead of Google? I already made a whole video on that, buddy. This video right over here. But I mean, I use a mix of like Brave, DuckDuckGo, and Yahoo. Again, I have the muscle memory to always type in google.com when I'm looking something up, so I gotta try to get rid of that. But yeah, I've actually been using Yahoo search more than anything right now, which I mentioned earlier. Main search engine is Bing. Yeah, I've talked about Bing in this video, but the problem with Bing is, you know, it's run by Microsoft and they're also an awful account. Wondering why I didn't see deep humor videos, but it was on my burner account. What's up, Deadly? Heard rumors that YouTube is starting to give some people timestamps on what's wrong with their channels. Yeah, they do that sometimes. Thank you, Deep Humor, for what you're doing, for helping us fighting for our freedoms. You do such important work. Oh, you're giving me too much credit, but thank you, Gary. What about Brave browser? Yeah, I just mentioned Brave browser. Been with you since the day you had beef with the other deep humor. Really nice seeing you make these types of content. It's fun. Thank you, Gammy. Appreciate that. How ironic that we're going back to Bing of all things. Not yeah. Me personally, I'm not gonna use Bing, but I just mention it in the video because it is still technically a viable alternative to Google. You know. Did I come in at the very end of the stream? I think I'll go for like another 5-10 minutes. Yeah, we just watched the interview with the Google CEO. But yeah, for those of you guys who are wondering what tomorrow's video will be about, YouTube is starting to label AI content on the video itself. So we're going to get into that. It's overall a good update, but I do have I have one main issue with it actually. Yeah, I appreciate you guys for being here and for watching. I do like doing the the countdown subscriber live streams. So maybe I'll do one for 250,000 or for 300,000 or something. That'll be fun. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for subscribing. Appreciate you guys for all the comments and stuff. But yeah, actually I'd probably a good time to end the stream. Can we get to 238,400 subscribers before I go? I think it would be awesome to see more edited stuff on your channel. But the thing is, friends, and the problem with that is I'm not good at YouTube, so I'm not good at editing. That's the problem. If you guys hear some alarms in the background, don't worry. Somebody just broke into my house. Not a big deal. Times 2 more. Can we get 10 subscribers before I go? Hopefully one day when the AI and age verification gets done, today you hit 1 million subscribers. Oh, that would be crazy. To be honest, though, I mean, it's an unfortunate thing to say, but I don't think AI is going away anytime soon. It's just too widespread now. I do hope the AI bubble pops, though, and, you know, obviously it becomes less prominent, but I don't think it'll ever, like, actually go away. But yeah, even I like your analogy of the person who thinks AI is better. Like, yeah, he said that, I forgot what he said, but he said something along the line. The Google CEO like implied that AI is more prominent than electricity or fire. And I was like, what? That's a crazy statement. What's better, Firefox or Brave? I prefer Firefox, but I like Brave too, you know. So it's honestly just a personal preference thing. I've always used Firefox though, like since I was a young lad, you know. You play video games? Of course, I have a whole gaming channel, buddy. Go over to my homepage over here, right here, gaming channel, DH Gaming. Make sure you guys go over there and subscribe too, in case my main channel ever gets banned, which it already has. But yeah, I think we'll call it a stream there. Appreciate you guys for being here. Make sure you guys are subbing notifications on. Like I said, tomorrow's video will be about YouTube's AI labelings, and make sure you guys leave a like before you go. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your days to be here, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.